Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, that's W-O-R-I-M-I, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made. And welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Just on that point, very quickly, if you don't like what I'm doing, the tarot reading, etc., or you don't like the message that my guides are giving me, yeah, don't bother leaving a comment. All that'll happen is it'll just simply get removed. 99.9999% of you are absolutely fabulous. Love you all, but there's just that little, don't bother. So, and I do notice I get an automatic, I think it's about 11 people giving me a thumbs down. Don't even bother doing that either. It's like, so what do you think you're going to achieve out of it? Uh, okay, that's all I'm going to say on that because not even interested. Okay, what am I going to look at today? Goodness me, of course, there's a weekend and a zillion billion things happen over the weekend. Please just step back and look after yourself, your own community, the things in your life that you have control over, because what's happening is that in a prearranged, typical manner. There is so much coming out of Felon 45's White House that it is designed to actually overwhelm, and by overwhelming you, it leaves you defeated, it leaves you bamboozled, it leaves you not knowing which direction and which direction to take, etc. And that is their intention. So please just step back and enjoy the show. First of all, what I'm going to tackle is that past life. Oh, that was just amazing on Friday. Did a little bit of further research. I haven't gone too far into it. But a few of you have been giving me some information, and a few of you actually connected in by using your own pendulum. So that particular lifetime that I did on Friday in the I think it was the 1750s to the 1760s to the 1780s, that was the significant part of that lifetime. And it was also peak horse culture, I believe, in the what is now known as the United States. And I got very clearly when I was looking, doing my pendulum with the tribes of the time, Shawnee. Now, I'm sure I've pronounced that incorrectly. I do apologize, but I got very strongly the Shawnee tribe. Apparently, and I got also trading with the Pawnee, the Cherokee, and the Miami tribes. There was tribes they didn't trade with, but yeah, those were the tribes they trade with. Looking in further, it was really interesting was that the Shawnee were quite aggressive warriors apparently, and was also almost used as the muscle for some other tribes as well. So that was quite interesting. But I did love their rule number one of their culture was do not kill or injure your neighbor. I love that, and I'll stand by that. Apparently, during they had a fairly tumultuous period. I mean, nothing was all sunshine and roses between the tribes of Northern America, even prior to white man arriving. The Iroquois, had driven them out at one stage and scattered them, and they regrouped, and all sorts happened. It was really interesting. Now, what I did get, because I asked just for some further information on this image that I got, was it was I don't know whether it was a medicine man or a spiritual leader or something along those lines, but I did get that he was holding the head of the young men and wiping white paint across the brow area. Now I thought, oh, okay, across the eyes, but no, 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 it was very specifically across the brow area. And I do believe it was part of the ceremony for the vision quest that the young men go on. As part of their coming to age, they go out into the wilderness, they fast or they live off the land to find their own spirit guides. So that was really, really interesting. So thank you for all those that contributed to that. And absolutely go back and seek out your own past lives. I love researching past lives as long as you can stay separate from it, which is really important. But it can also explain a lot. I'm just going to give a couple of examples. First example, my own daughter. When she was 18, she came down with COVID and ended up with is quite seriously in hospital with heart issues, but her heart would be racing, so it affected her heart. There's no long-term effects that appear to be from that, but she ended up in a hospital for about a week, going through a whole barrage of tests, and she was really struggling with being 18 and being during COVID. No visitors, so needless to say, the teddy bear was packed in the bag and sent in. Um, Fear of death, absolutely. She had suffered anxiety most of her life up until that point, and then she had this overwhelming fear of death. I did a past life reading on her at that stage, and it turned out that she had actually her most recent past life, which is the one that usually affects your current life more than the ones prior. She had actually been a forced Somalian child soldier. So what had happened is the rebels had come to her village, killed off most of, well, practically all the elder people, the parents, the grandparents, etc., and took the young children to become child soldiers. Absolutely horrific part of Somalia's history. And she then she was male in this particular lifetime and connected in with one of the rebels' medics. So she was helping the medic. Now she's really incredibly interested in science and did biomed at university, but is not interested in a career in it. So that was quite interesting. But connected in with one of the medics, and she was actually killed at the age of 18. So when I went through and did the timings with the pendulum and I look back on this current life, the anxiety started at the age that she was kidnapped and forced into this horrific life, culminating in a fear of death at the age of 18. Now, by going through that past life, she's managed, and we talked it through and we asked questions. She's actually managed to put that behind her, which was really interesting. Another family member, absolute irrational fear of tsunamis. They were brought up in Scotland. So it's a Marian relative. Like, what's this fear of tsunamis? Absolutely irrational fear. And so I did past life on that person as well, and it turns out that they were in a shipwreck in the South Pacific. I can't remember the exact dates. I went looking for ships in the South Pacific that were shipwrecked, but a lot were undocumented. Um, and there had been a shipwreck, so on a un on the charts, wasn't on the charts reef, out in the middle of nowhere. And what happened was that they were downstairs in their cabin because they've been told to stay down there to be safe, and literally the wall of water came through and they drowned. So again, that was their most recent, I believe, past life. So again, we've got that sort of, or I've been two back for that particular person, but again, we've got that past life energy coming through and playing out in um, uh, emotions that come through in this current lifetime. So I just thought that was incredibly interesting. I'm not going to have a look at another past life today. Um, we will do some more in the future, though. I find them absolutely fascinating. But what I also find fascinating, sorry about this big blurble on the front, but hey, look, we're here, make a coffee. I was going through, I get done each year my solar year done by from Denise Knight Divination. Absolutely love Denise. She's very technical, but does incredibly thorough job. Dabney Lawless is another one who's incredibly good at doing the astrology as well. Dabney tends to be a little bit more, oh, now, okay, now my ears have just gone, woo! Dabney's more layperson discussion with the astrology. Denise is very quite um, technical. So both are really good, depends on what you're after. But I was going through so not only does she do an overview for the solar return for the year, she does day by days, Denise does, for the highlights. Now, what I found really interesting is I was reading through my solar return again, and it was really interesting. What it said, well, this particular bit really stood out to me. So, it's several pages long, 9 pages long, just the overview. But it said, you need to be careful of being too rash, only because at times you might feel a little edgy or patient. And when it comes to channeling, your boys, ergo my guides, might have to be reminded that life on earth does not move at the same pace as that in the realm. So, yeah, really good reminder. No clock, no calendar in the afterlife. So I just found that really quite interesting that came through, that in my solar return, have to remind my guides that we are on different time. Please be gentle with me. So what am I going to look in this particular reading? Gosh. Could actually leave this as just a coffee reading. No cards, just a coffee reading, entertainment only, and I shall get down to some nitty gritty in the next one. So I shall catch you shortly. Take care. Love to you all. Bye bye.